Hi, I'm Ashley. This is Life Beyond Locks. Today we are looking at a piece from WigShe. This is piece number 5 for me, which is crazy because I feel like I've seen, like I look back and I see so much growth in the company and really listening and taking feedback, which is really awesome. So I'm excited to look at this piece. It's very different from anything else that I've looked at from them recently. So if you have watched my last 2 videos, those were my 2 favorite pieces that I received from them. One was a dark brown, a little bit darker than what I probably would wear typically, but I wore it a lot this winter when I was out and about. It was like my go-to for going out for dinner. And then I got a hat fall recently, which I just posted about a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, in a very similar color, but unhighlighted. And I really, really, really recommend, if you are interested in all in budget pieces, that you go back and watch that hat fall video because it is unbelievable quality. Like, you will be shocked at what you can get for under $400, what you can get for under $300. Like, it's amazing. And a hat fall wig is definitely a workhorse in my collection just because I wear them on weekends and most of the summer. Because I'm a teacher, I'm off, so I want something easy. This piece, however, is different. It is not a hat fall, it's a lace wig, and it comes in a color that escapes me right now, so I'll make sure that I state it later in the video or I put it in the product description. If you take a look at the product listing, I did just take a peek at this already because I was so excited, but I'm still in my work clothes. Like, I went right upstairs to hit record as soon as I looked at it because I was so excited. If you look at the product listing for this, the color is crazy, actually close. I didn't think so, and then I put it on and I put the phone up with the product photo, and my husband was like, yeah, those are pretty much identical, which is kind of cool. As I said, I just raced up the stairs. I was like, I'm gonna go record right away before I put on my comfy clothes, because we all know we do that as soon as we get home. Wig off, comfy clothes on, usually in that order, but seconds apart. But I really wanted to show you because I really love showing the after. So I can show you the unboxing and that's like great, but what you really want to see is, what does it look like after it's been washed a couple of times? How does it perform? Does it curl? Is it okay? And I will say, like, out of the bag, this is the bag here. This one is just like every other WigShe that I've owned. The hair quality feels the same. It's so consistent for me. It's never changed. And the thing that I have noticed is that when I wash their pieces, they don't lose color. Or at least not in my experience. They've been pretty consistent. So that's really good. And I'm getting that same light, fluffy feeling here, but I do look forward to washing it, getting any factory smell. Like, it smells a little perfumey compared to normal, but I just like to make it mine. So washing the shampoo that I like, put in a nice conditioner, and then, you know, cut the lace and curl her the way I would curl her. I just feel like that's the best way to see, what does a wig really look like? But you at home, of course, if you order it, you can't do that. You can't cut the lace, you can't wash it, you can't style it. You have to make a decision out of the box whether you want to keep it or you want to send it back. So that's where hopefully this comes in handy as a resource. I can put it on, I can show you what it looks like out of the box, and then what do I do with it in the coming days. And then you can kind of make a decision for yourself about whether you think this is something that you want to pursue. Now, I have to tell you, I went right in front of a window here and I have my ring light on and I feel like it's not pulling the color accurately. So I don't know what's going to happen when I watch this playback. Maybe if I get close to the camera there, I think that might be better. Let me get really close for you to see. I feel like that's an accurate representation. So it's kind of it's a dimensional piece, though at first look, it looks like one consistent color throughout. But then as I look at it, I'm like, no, it's really not. There are lighter blonde pieces and then some darker blonde pieces. And the one thing that they really nailed here that I hadn't noticed in their early days was the blonde pieces, the rooting was sometimes an issue. So this is an unrooted piece and you can see, like, there's no inconsistency. Like, the color is incredibly uniform. It's not like, oh, the bottom is one color and the top is one color. Like, we don't have that. It's consistent all the way throughout, and all the way throughout it's like a dimensional but subtle dimension color. So the thing that I will say is that, and I didn't realize this, so I didn't ask for specifics. I was like, let's do something that's consistent and doesn't have rooting, and I'm open to whatever. And one thing that I didn't mention, and now I'm like, oh, I should have mentioned it, was I didn't ask for bleach knots. So this piece does have some visible knots at the root. They're not stark. I'm gonna try to fix them as much as I can with some powder, because I'm like, if they weren't visible, this would be perfect for me. I feel like maybe they're lightly bleached, maybe not. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask them what they call this, but I'll get really close for you to see. So they're right there. I don't think anyone would really notice though. Like they're not they're visible, but they're not super aggressive that they, you know, when you're looking at me, they're gonna draw your eye probably because the hair is a lighter color. You can fix that because when you order, every single piece that they make is custom order, like every piece. So when you ask them to, when you put in your order, you can say like bleach the knots, lightly bleach the knots, don't bleach the knots, whatever it is that you wanna do. Okay, so we're gonna cut the lace together and then I'll go away, I'll wash it, I'll style it, and then we'll reconvene and give an assessment of the piece as I like to do. Okay, here we are. So I've got it on my canvas block. By the way, if you want a link to any of these products, let me know. I love this stand. If you are new to the world of wigs, I highly recommend that you get yourself a stand. Some of them are more fragile than others. I love this one. I've had it for at least a year now, and it was the best purchase ever. I should have done it ages before, but I didn't because I cheaped out and bought a tabletop stand and it just wobbled all over the place. It just wasn't nearly as good. So often I'll use like Velcro to hold these hairs back or some clips, but I'm going to show you, honestly, you can do it with even just any old ponytail holder. Just get the hair out of the way. You can do it on your head to see exactly where you want that line to be, but I'm not going to fine tune it right now, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to show you what you do to start. So, and then you can go in and fine tune once it's on your head to get it exactly where you want it. So just use your scissors for, like you can just buy any pair of kitchen scissors, quite honestly. Just make sure they're really sharp from the dollar store. Or you can use scissors like this, which are obviously hair cutting scissors. And then you're just going to cut about 1/4 of an inch of the way down. Again, I'm not even doing it that well because I intend to go back and cut it closer when I'm finished to make sure that it's exactly where I want it on my hairline. Now, one thing that I do, but is probably not recommended, is I like to cut really close, and I don't even need it on me to know this, is I like to cut really close on the sides by my ear because I like to pull out my bio hair. And does that mean that I'll end up with some wearing faster on the sides? Yes. Do I care? No, because I know that that's just how I like it. It's worth it to me to have that closeness along the hairline. Like this is still too far away for me. I'll end up going closer later. Okay, so that's not a great cut. There's still a lot of lace left, which, you know, a lot of people like. For me, I know that I'm not going to want to keep it like that. Before I put it on, I'll show you the inside of the cap though, all the cap construction stuff. It's the same every time. They're always consistent. So we've got this, you know, wide parting area. This is all hand tied. You can part anywhere in that area. You have wefting and clips on the side. Don't recommend that you use these clips. They are the aggressive kind that I talk about. In a lot of my videos, don't use these. These are ouchy for some of your baby hairs. There's a back comb. I love this. So many companies don't do this, and I wish they all did because I don't want to have to sew them in. But it's such a good feature because it can just go right under your low bun if you have one, or your wig grip. So I love these combs. Bra strap adjusters. I'm wearing a size small and it fits snug around here, but there's always extra room in their cap. So the small always is fine. I'm 21.25 inches. It's always fine around the circumference, but I always have way too much room in the back. I don't think it's ever noticeable though. So who cares? For me, who cares? I mean, we're talking a budget wig here too. Keep that in mind. This piece will not cost you a fortune. And you have to, I feel like you have to be realistic about your expectations you don't deserve to not get a reasonable piece, but you also, you know, are not getting a luxury piece. Okay, so now I feel like it's too high still. Let's bring my hairline down a bit. I just pulled on the hair. Oh, it's like the #1 rule of wigs is don't pull on the hair. What did I do? I pulled on the hair. Okay, I'm gonna throw a couple curls in this. I'll be right back. I just realized that some of you might want to watch me put these curls in. So I'll just do a couple right here for you to see. And then I'm just gonna do a quick job because, as I said, I'm gonna wash it and then curl it after. So there's no point in exposing it to more heat damage only to wash it later tonight. But I'll do a little bit so you can see how it might look, because it's kind of like got box hair at the top, box hair on the sides. You can kind of see that. I think you're seeing okay. So now we get a realistic look of how this is going to appear. I'll put a little bit of powder on the part line for you to see. So we're gonna go in here and just add it to the top. Now, I will also add this to the bottom. And I think I wanna try to tone the lace because I feel like the lace is pulling a little orangey. So I'm gonna figure out how to do that. And once I do, like for now, I'm just gonna put some powder on there and try to change the color of it with powder. But once I figure out how to tone it, I will take you on that journey and we'll try to tone the lace together. So there's the before wash. As I said, will be back and I'll let you know what she looks like air dried, and then we'll style her together so you can kind of see like start to finish from when you get her in the box, what does she look like, to the very end. Well, let me tell you, I am back and I'm happy to be sitting here where I am right now, feeling the way I'm feeling, because for a hot minute, I was very stressed out. I disappeared. I went away to wash this piece just like I always do. I think it's important to wash a piece twice at least to give you really, not obviously what it looks like 6 months into wearing, but an idea of what a piece looks like after it's been washed, and not just washed once, but like washed twice and washed well twice, so that you could really see what it looks like after the silicones come out and the hair dye comes out and all of that. Well, if you watched my last WigShe video, it was about the hat fall, and that piece, by the way, if you haven't seen it and you're looking for a hat fall, go take a look. They are so good. The value is amazing. So anyways, I had a hat fall wig from them. It was a dark brown color, beautiful piece. And when I washed it, it washed so wonderfully, just as all my other WigShe pieces have. No shedding, nothing like that. There was some color bleed from the first wash, which is totally normal. If you dye your biological hair, then you know after your first wash, you lose some of that hair in the sink, or not the hair. There was no hair shedding. You lose some of that color in the sink. And that happened with that piece, but then the second wash through, there was absolutely no color coming out. So I felt really good about it. And away we went with the video and my recommendations for you. So now this one, I went to wash it and my heart kind of stopped, because the first wash, it lost some hair dye, which is totally normal. It lost a lot of hair dye. And then the second one, it kept losing hair dye. And then a third wash and a fourth wash, and I started to panic because I was like, this color is coming out completely. We're going to be left with like 613 hair. You know, we're going to have just plain white blonde hair at the end of all of this. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. Like, this is the first time this has happened to me with WigShe. And so I kept washing because I wanted to make sure that if I'm going to promote something on here that I genuinely love it, or I'm going to have to tell the truth that I didn't love it. And so I was stressed because you know that I love, so far so good with WigShe. I really do love them for so many reasons that I talk about every single time: the cap construction, the hair quality, the length, the price point, the communication with them. Like, there's just so many things that I love about them. And I thought, oh my gosh, well, this is the beginning of the end. Like, this is it. I'm going to be done with them. So I stopped washing once the dye stopped coming out, which is about wash 5. So I just kept kind of like filling the sink, Well, I don't really fill a sink, I guess. I just kind of like have the stopper in to see what the color looks like, and I'm washing and I'm rinsing the color through the water through as I'm washing. So around wash 4.5-ish, it stopped bleeding, and it looked at that point like I had lost a lot of color. And so I couldn't even wait. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for it to dry. But then I couldn't wait for it to dry, but I wanted to see how the wave would turn out, because that's another thing I love about WigShe pieces is I love the loose wave that they dry with. So I I blow dried half of the wig. I think it was this half now. I'm trying to imagine on the mannequin. And then the other side, this side, I let it air dry because I wanted to see how is this color turning out, because it looked almost gray when it was wet. I was like, this is a disaster. So anyways, I blow dried it. I hated it. But that was in like my bathroom lighting, and I hated it because it looked different. And then I added some curls when it dried the next day. By the way, the loose wave was beautiful. I added some curls, and that was last night. And my husband came into the bathroom, and he's so brutally honest about stuff, which I totally love. Like he's, you know, if I ask for the honesty, he's going to give it. And he said, okay, it doesn't look the same as it did when you wore it the first time. And I don't know if you guys see a difference right now, because I'm now wearing the same piece and, you know, it's been washed a bunch. And he said, it doesn't look the same as it did when you first wore it, but it looks really good. Like, it looks really good. And I said, yeah, I think I'm getting used to it, right? And he named a couple of things. And he said, for one, and this is something that I noticed too, but I didn't tip him off. He said, for one, the lace matches your skin better, because we had noticed when I first got it that the lace had sort of like an orangey tinge. It had obviously taken on some of that hair dye color. And in washing it, we lost some of that color from the lace. And so last night, now I'm wearing makeup, so there might be a bit of visibility. There's also like my own bio hair right there. It's just kind of sticking through, but you can see the lace is pretty good. It's a little bit longer than it should be. I should cut it up further, but I'm wearing makeup now. But last night I wasn't wearing makeup, and it was like melting right into my freshly washed skin. And he said, it's the same color as your skin. So that was a win. We washed the color out of the lace. And then two, he said, it just looks like a beautiful strawberry blonde now. Like, it looks lighter, but it looks like it could be sort of like European, you know, virgin hair. Like, that's kind of how it looks, is like a virgin European strawberry blonde kind of color. And obviously it's not, it's heavily processed. But when he said that, I was like, yeah, it really, you're right. It does. Like, I don't necessarily look like the right candidate for this hair because of my dark eyebrows. But my daughter, who has, and I wish she was in the house right now, but she's gone out to sell some tulips. She would probably be a really good match for this right now, because she does have a strawberry blonde kind of hair. So all this to say, you know, your realistic expectations need to be there when you're shopping with a company like WigShe. It's a budget company. They're not coming out saying we are the best luxury brand, but you know through me, if you watch my videos, that they have a lot of things that are very much on point with the luxury brands. They have a great cap. They have really great lace. I know that I have it on good authority. They sent me their receipts that they purchased their lace from Switzerland. They have beautiful length and beautiful soft hair quality. I mean, this has been washed several times over now, and like, look at it. It's just gorgeous, right? Is it double drawn? No, probably not. But like, it's not bad at all. I never have split end issues with them. I'm looking at this now. I don't see any issue with any of it. Like, it's just beautiful hair. It's bouncy. It takes a wave nicely. So there's a lot of pros. The one thing that you have to be maybe a little bit realistic about is your expectations for color. Now, does that mean that you should accept absolutely anything? No, but so far, in my opinion, their pieces for me have all turned out quite well. And for a bunch of my followers or subscribers who have sent me DMs and shown me their end results, they're really, really pleased with them. So now I'm hoping that by seeing this finished product, that someone out there who could pull off a strawberry blonde might want to purchase this piece, because now you know what it's going to look like after you've washed it a bunch of times. So it might start off looking like this, but it's going to end up looking like this, which is really quite beautiful. Now, I know some people are going to give me a hard time, and they're going to say, but you know, you shouldn't be getting a product and then it changes after you wash it. But the reality is that is the case for so many wig brands, but in particular budget brands. You know, they change the style, there's silicones, there's all kinds of things in them that get washed out over time. But The only drawback that I've ever seen for WigShe is their color, but it's not a drawback when it looks like this. Like, we're not talking about an unwearable wig. We're talking about something that you could easily walk down the street in and nobody would go, oh my gosh, what did she do to her hair, right? I mean, it's beautiful. So just be mindful of that as you're spending, not as you're spending your money, but as you're shopping on their site. If you want something that's wonderfully custom to you and colored in North America or in the UK by a trained stylist who is from North America or Europe or wherever, then that's what you should go get. Don't settle. And if your budget allows for it, great. But do recognize that those pieces might be 2, 3, 4, 5 times the cost or more as a piece from WigShe that with my coupon code will get you, I think, less than $600 for this length. So when you think about that, that's a huge saving. So if you can afford to be flexible in terms of your expectations for color, and just, not have maybe something that's exactly customized for you exactly as you want it. If you can be open-minded about that, then I think you could be very happy. The other thing that you can do is consider getting customization done. So if you're spending $600 on a wig, for a human hair wig, and then you have somebody who can make a color adjustment for you, then you really can come ahead. So even if that custom costs, $200 or $300, you're still spending well under $1,000 for so much length in a human hair wig that is really, truly beautiful. So that's something else to be mindful of. And that is something that I'm considering doing with this piece, is putting in like a level 4 or maybe like a level 5 root and some low lights, or just going all over with a level 4 or 5. I'm terrified to do it because I've never colored a lace wig before or any wig before, but I might give it a go, or I might see if I can get somebody else to do it. There doesn't seem to be anyone in the neighborhood or in my city, even though it's a big city, who does work like that. So maybe I'll try it out myself. And if I do, of course, I'll film the process. But if you know somebody who can do it, and of course, there's a lot of mail-in places, I can recommend some to you in the US, then you could totally make this a more custom piece, especially if you're going for a lighter color like this and you want to make it darker, because from here we could definitely add some darkness. Anyways, I digress. I'm very happy with this. If you can't tell I can feel my cheeks hurt from smiling. I really am pleased with how it turned out, and I am so relieved because it does confirm for me that at the end of the day, the WigShe pieces, they're worth it to me. They're such good value. And, like I said, maybe this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be when I first started washing it, but I love it even more now. So it's a win-win for me. Let me know below, please, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you do like this piece, would you wear this color? Would you, want to go darker, or would you want to go lighter? If there's something on their website that you want to see in person, go through the wash test, all that jazz, let me know, and I will gladly reach out to them and see what I can do about creating some content around those questions that you have. But for now, this one, so beautiful. Thank you, WigShe, for giving me the chance to review it. And thank you to you for sticking around to the end of this video. And I will see you with the next one.